Welcome back to the Terry and Jesse Show. Father Charles, we're sitting in for Jess Romero. It's a Monday. And before I let Father Murr continue on his comments about China, I just want to remind everybody that we have such a special pilgrimage with Bishop Strickland, Jesse Romero, Matt Arnold, myself, to Southern California, to the California Missions. Spend a whole week with Bishop Strickland. I wish I could fly Father Murr over to us to be with Bishop Strickland. Daily Mass, confessions, spiritual talks.
I don't think there would be anything that I would more happily attend.
Yeah.
Than anything with Bishop Strickland. The man is a living saint and a prophet.
Yeah, I agree with you, Father. And so if people want to come, just go to vmpr.org. It's March 9th to the 14th. Check that out. And also you can check out our Spiritual Warfare Conference coming up in April. Father Murr, before you tell the story about a bishop who was homegrown in China, who fled the persecution, you were telling a story, and I'm trying to remember now after the break, you were talking about people you studied with that were in China. Continue, please.
Look.
Yes.
There are many ways to kill the church.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best ways known to man is through the Masons.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were setting up.
And what I'm telling you is that in Mexico in the 1920s, all of the politicians were Masons, were Freemasons, and the Freemasons set up a Masonic-inspired national church.
Wow.
Well, the same thing was done in China.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe with the help of the Freemasons, just the communists.
Yeah.
They followed the same rule book, the same rule, and they were ruthless. They were actually more ruthless than the Freemasons because they tortured people, put people to death. Not that the Freemasons didn't have their hand in all of that too. Yeah. However, the idea was to infiltrate the church and to take control of what? To take control of the naming of bishops.
There you go.
You know my book, Murder in the 33rd Degree.
Yes.
This is all about a cardinal that we had for the 1970s and into the 80s who was in charge of naming bishops. And I said this was the most important of all of the congregations in the Vatican.
Yes.
Because he decided who the bishops of the world were, the successors of the apostles.
Wow.
And this is where our church is today.
Yeah.
We're not all of the bishops are bad men. I'm not saying that, but many are.
Of course.
Many are. Right. And also, I think, people should wake up just a little bit. I hate to be the one to
break the news,
to wake them up. And I don't want to scandalize, but you've got to realize that today, and I say this at my own peril.
Yeah.
We have bishops and we have priests, we have clergy who don't even believe in God.
I know.
They just don't. I mean, I don't know if they can say they do all they want, but they do not. And they're modernists and they're bent on destroying the church. Well, the point was the communists in China decided they were going to do war against the church. When they saw that they could not do war against the church and win.
Yeah.
This has been going on for 60 years, 70 years.
Right.
They decided to sit down, invited by the Vatican to quote unquote dialogue.
Yeah.
Let's sit down and dialogue. Yeah. Shall we dialogue?
Crazy.
Yeah, let's sit down and dialogue. And I suppose I'm supposing this because I was not there. The Vatican had a great need for money, and in all fairness, I've got to tell people too. If anyone who would like to take over the running of the Vatican for a day, and pay the salaries and pay the museum costs and pay for the air conditioning system so that the manuscripts don't destroy and everything else, it is a colossal cost.
Yeah.
It's like a white elephant. It's like the white elephant story, Terry?
Tell us. No.
Well, it's a very simple thing. I was in Rome when this happened. I was working in the Vatican, and they were. This is crazy. They were excavating for. I hope I've got this right.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm mixing it up. For a swimming pool.
Oh yeah, was this when John Paul?
They were putting in a swimming pool for John Paul II.
I remember that story. Yes, of course.
And he said very simply, if I don't have swimming every day,
it's cheap.
he said, you figure out which is which is
Yeah.
less expensive,
That's right.
a swimming pool or another conclave to elect another pope, because I'll be dead by the end of the week, right?
Exactly.
And he needed that because he had a bone
Sure.
condition that was, and he just needed that to swim.
Hmm.
Anyway, while they were excavating for this swimming pool, I take that back. It wasn't for a swimming pool. It was something else because it was in the Belvedere,
Hmm.
Cortile Belvedere. They came across the skeleton of an elephant.
Really? No, I
Of
never
an
heard.
elephant.
What would an
Right?
elephant
Sure.
be doing there?
Of an elephant. Yeah. Well, what is an elephant doing there? Exactly. Well, the historians were called in to study it was an elephant given by a Muslim uh, uh, a Muslim leader of
Hmm. Imam?
Iran, Iraq.
Yeah.
I don't know. No. It was an emperor.
Oh, okay.
It was the emperor
Got
of
it.
a country
Got it.
as a gift to the Pope.
Wow.
Why? Because the elephant was white. Right? The elephant
The
was
Pope
white.
wears
And so
white.
he
Yeah.
gave it to the Pope because
I get it.
about the Pope was white. Well, they used that elephant in papal ceremonies,
Oh my
and
God.
especially for the Corpus Christi parades.
No kidding.
On top of the elephant's head would go the
The monstrance? Oh my goodness.
through the streets of Rome.
Incredible.
It was a great procession. The elephant, by the way, was named Hannibal.
Ah, animal.
Hannibal, right?
Okay.
Well, Hannibal died in that's where we get the expression a white elephant.
I never heard that story.
When you call a gift, have you ever heard of a
Of
gift
course,
called a white elephant?
yes,
Right.
of course.
What it means is here I'm going to give you something precious and
Yeah.
unique,
Yes.
marvelous,
Yes.
that you cannot dispose of. You can't throw this in the garbage because it's so precious.
Right.
Now, Terry, you maintain it.
Oh boy. Yeah, and it's costly.
No, you feed it every day.
Yeah, exactly.
You hold it, right? So it's sort of a yes/no present to a friend enemy, right?
Yes.
Anyway, that was the thing of the white elephant. Why am I onto the white elephant?
Well,
What in
you
the
made
world
your
is-
point, but here's what I wanted to ask. We're talking about persecuting
Yeah.
the church in China. In 1949, as you mentioned, this is when that revolution took place and the Maranols and the Jesuits were all kicked out. But there was a story that you told us, and it's in your book. I remember reading it in your book.
Well,
About,
here, the white elephant inference was this.
yeah,
We have all of these things in the church, the artwork,
yeah, we got to take
the
care of it.
manuscripts,
Right.
the museums,
Sure.
everything precious.
Yes.
Now maintain it.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, now
Right?
I
To
get it.
maintain it costs a lot. So there is a problem with money, with
Right.
finances.
Right.
Well, the Vatican agreed with the communists. It's an incredible thing.
Ugh.
They agreed.
Atheistic
that
communists.
for the atheistic communists that for, I believe it was 200 million a year,
Yeah, that's what I read too.
they would give the communists right to name their own bishops. The communists are now naming
Yep.
the bishops in China.
Yeah.
This is it's incredible. It's just incredible.
It's very sad.
There is a real need for a reform in the Catholic Church from the very beginning of it to the very end. However, in your story, the communists had to go underground. Well, when the communists took over control of China,
Hmm.
they found the Catholic Church
Right.
already in existence, of course,
Sure.
and they expelled all of the priests, or they killed them,
Yeah, simple.
or they tortured them and put them in jail,
Mhm.
along with the faithful. There are some great Chinese saints who were tortured to death
I bet.
for their faith.
Yep.
Pope Pius XII, seeing the need for the universality of the church to be proclaimed and to be felt and to be understood,
Hmm.
he named a cardinal, the first Chinese cardinal in Peking,
Hmm.
now called Beijing, right?
Hmm.
And he made him a cardinal.
Yeah, young
Well,
guy.
this was great news, and people applauded it,
Yeah.
as they did the first Africans, the first Asians.
Sure.
This is great because this is the Catholic Church, right? Well, when the revolution came, when the communists took over, this Cardinal Kim was his name,
Mhm.
escaped. He escaped communist China with his life,
He
right?
ran. Yeah.
And made it all the way to Italy,
Mhm.
all the way to Rome, all the way to the Vatican, all the way to the Bronze Doors. of the Vatican.
Yes.
And he insisted on seeing the Holy Father, Pope Pius XII. When the Pope found out that he was there,
Yes.
he was very upset.
Wow.
And he called in Mother Pasqualina. Mother Pasqualina, it's a shame you didn't know her. You would have loved her.
I bet I would have.
You remember Mother Angelica? Well,
Of
put
course,
Mother
yeah.
Angelica on steroids.
Oh, there you go. Wow. Wow. I get
She
it.
she was a force to be reckoned with, and no
Yeah.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, he called in Pope Pius XII called in Mother Angelica and said, I want you to do me a favor. She listened to the instructions and went downstairs
Yeah.
to receive the cardinal, the Chinese cardinal.
Yes.
And she said, the Holy Father cannot receive you. He thinks it's a shame that you're here. He wants to know why you're not in prison in China with your fellow priests and laity, with your congregants, with your diocese,
Yes.
with the Christians who have been persecuted, why you're not there. And she said, and His Holiness wonders, do you understand, Your Eminence, why you wear red?
Oh boy.
And he looked, she said, may I remind you, and the Holy Father reminds you, it is because you said you were willing to shed your blood
That's it.
for the Catholic faith. And now you've escaped and you've come here. The Holy Father wants to know why you aren't back in China.
Wow.
Right? Well, he was not received by the Pope and went to Chicago,
That's
where
what
he
I
lived
heard.
the rest of his life and died.
Yeah. What a sad story. And now
Yeah.
that should tell us also that we need to be praying for the church in China specifically now.
And for our clergy everywhere.
Absolutely. Stay with us.